Hey guys, good afternoon. Forex Brizio back again. It is now 12:30 p.m. on October 12th, and just bringing you an update on the futures action today. I've made a couple updates earlier at the open, and then around 10 o'clock a couple hours ago. So here's where we're at now, and you can see where price. This is the hourly chart of the Nasdaq futures. You can see where we are, sitting right at the top of this box, having trouble getting through. And as I've said in the last couple of videos about this area, which I drew this box on here over the weekend, is that price was definitely going to run into issues when it came into here, which it has. It essentially got through this high and this high, but it's stuck right here at the top of the box at these highs, which again is very predictable because this is just, you can just tell by looking at this that there's a lot of transactions going on in this area, and there's definitely a lot of push and pull between the buyers and sellers in this range. Again, my gut feeling is ultimately it will break out of this area. This is just a chop consolidation area, kind of a retail trading area. But ultimately, I do think it will break out of here to the upside. That's just my guess. Again, it's not trading advice. I could be 100% wrong, and this thing could fall through the floor. But I do think, just by the way this stuff looks, that price will, hold in here for a while, but eventually the buyers will win out. And then again, the next target to the upside would be, back here to this little consolidation zone. This is a couple hundred points away. And then, the further one out, of course, back at the top of the swing high, which is 250, 270 points away. So if it gets through here, there's a really nice upside potential. So we'll see what happens. I was in a long earlier. I showed you that on the 10:30. I did close the position up here for a small profit because I just, I could have held it, but I don't know if it's going to make this breakthrough today or not, or if we're just going to chop around. And I just didn't want to fall for some, intraday sentiment drop where it falls back to these lows. So I just said, you know what? It wasn't. If you go down to a really short time frame, you can see there's been multiple stabs at breaking higher, and it just hasn't been able to do it. Although the trend is that the highs are getting higher. You can just kind of see high, a little higher, a little higher, a little higher, but then the last couple ones have pushed back down again. This is a 6-minute chart, so we'll see what happens. You can see the buyers are trying to assert themselves, but right now the sellers are still coming in and pushing it back down. So like I said, we'll see what happens. I do have a chart alert set over here. That's what this red arrow is. There's a chart alert set just above these highs. So if we do get an impulsive push this afternoon, which sometimes we do in the afternoon session. I'm not real big about opening positions after 1 o'clock, but you could get a late afternoon push, and maybe I would think about jumping back in again for a short-term play this afternoon. But if we never get there, that's fine, and we'll regroup tomorrow and see what's going on. So if anything else happens of note, I'll make another video, but that's where we're at now. On the ES, the S&P here, it's pretty much, it's actually not even as favorable on the ES. We came into this first zone here and we rejected off of it, and we have actually fallen back inside the range we've been running for the last couple of days here. The last 2 or 3 days actually we've had this range, so we're actually back inside of it again, at the top end of it. So this one is less favorable in terms of bullish action to break through here, but I do like to see these two instruments kind of correlate together, and it's pretty much like I said earlier that as one goes, the other one usually goes. It's not 100%, it's not all the time, but if one's choppy, the other one's probably going to be choppy. If one's trending, the other one's probably going to be trending. Maybe not at the same rate, but they do tend to correlate together, even though they're different instruments. They're both stock indices. Obviously, they just look at different stocks. One's the S&P, kind of like your big blue chips, and the Nasdaq is a smaller batch of tech stocks. So, but ultimately, at the end of the day, they do tend to flow together. So U.S. dollar did strengthen after the CPI data. It's kind of leveled off. It hasn't weakened at all, but it's kind of leveled off in the afternoon session, which is, again, not a surprise, which is probably also why some of this stuff is leveling off at the moment, too. So, anyways, that's it. I'll leave it there. Again, if anything of note comes up the rest of the day, I'll drop another quick one, but I just wanted to bring you that update. I hope these are valuable, just making these short hits, live market instead of doing the long drawn-out videos days later. So, anyways, questions, comments, leave them below, and I'll talk to you all soon.